Hello YouTube, how you doing? Hope you're keeping right, hope you're keeping well. Can't believe this, I've already recorded this entire bloody video once and then gone to edit it and guess he'd forgotten to turn his microphone on. Yeah. So anyway, we'll start again. Hello YouTube, great to see you. Hope you're all doing well. And today we're going to do a video on Darktable 5. Yeah, we're not going to do anything specifically Darktable 5-ish because it's all been covered before. But what I'm going to do is talk to you about, sorry Linux users, you might as well turn off now. But for those of you on PC and Mac who use Darktable, as opposed to the likes of Lightroom or Adobe, integration of DXO Pure Raw 4. So you can get this new generation of AI denoise working, integrated inside of Darktable. So are you ready? Let's do it. Okay, so DXO, Pure Raw 4 integration into Darktable, yeah. Now then, here we've got this shot of this, my second favourite bird to photograph, male European kestrel. Well, Eurasian kestrel I should say, or is it European kestrel? Can't remember. But my second favourite bird, I just love them. First favourite bird, male sparrowhawk. So much of a favourite, I've never managed to get a photograph of one yet. Very skittish bird. But anyway, yeah. So here he is, inside a Darktable, fully processed, finished image, and just look at that. Sharp as a sharp thing. Just the right level of denoising in the background, because you never want your images to look perfectly smooth, otherwise they just look a little bit on the full side. So, I mean, really super processed, good denoising, and of course taking advantage of the various processing modules inside a Darktable. You put the two of them together, is really powerful. But anyway, what I'm going to do is come over to Lighttable, and I'm going to just go actions on selection, image, delete, and we'll click yes. And so there you go, it's all gone. Yeah, better go and make it again, haven't we? So here's our raw file. But before I actually do that, what I should have done was to come over here and gone to discard history, because we've done something to that raw file. So we've discarded the history now. And how do we integrate the likes of DXO Pure Raw 4, or God forbid, Topaz Photo AI? I can't remember which is cheapest. But I've got Topaz Photo AI on my system, but I don't like it. It's nowhere near as good as DXO. And the other nice thing is, you know, I'm an Adobe user in the main, but the demosaicing algorithm that Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw use, it's a bit old, and the demosaicing algorithm inside DXO, all DXO products, it uses the same one, but honestly, It is a cracking demosaicing algorithm. I wouldn't say everything else about DXO stuff is absolutely cracking. The denoise isn't quite as good as Lightroom and Camera Raw. I'll put a link in the description panel below to a video done by Steve Perry, Backcountry Gallery, and he did a smashing video basically comparing Lightroom stroke Camera Raw, DXO Pure Raw 4 and Topaz Photo AI. And I'll put a link in there because I strongly suggest that everybody who's watching this video goes and watches that as well. I'm so impressed with that video of Steve's that I just can't be bothered doing one myself. So I'll just reference Steve's video when it comes to comparing the three. There is so much good processing stuff inside of Darktable. And Darktable's sharpening sort of lets it down a little bit, but not too much. But the noise reduction in any FOSS software, be it Darktable, Raw Therapy or Art, is not good because it's old hat. Yeah, it is not the same as the current level of denoising that is available to people who use Mac and Windows and are prepared to go either the Adobe route or the DXO route. Like I say, God forbid, the Topaz route. So, right, how do we get it all to integrate? We get it all to integrate with this little button here. Show in File Explorer. Now that button, sadly, I really do think they ought to make it mainstream. So everybody's got it. But at the minute, not everybody's got it. But everybody's got access to it. Yeah? And one of my Patreon members, Mike. Hi, Mike. Sent me a message a few days ago. Andy, have you seen this? And it was basically to do with, we've come down to the script panel. It's to do with this DXO Pure Raw 4, DXO Pure Raw script. Process images in DXO Pure Raw. It works, oh yeah, it does. But it doesn't do anything different from what I'm going to show you. But it's an absolute bummer to install. Yeah, especially on a Mac. But, open in Explorer. That is all you need to integrate Pure Raw 4 with Darktable. And I'll show you. First of all, where'd you get this from? Now, you might already have it, and you've just not got it turned on. So, come down to your scripts panel, come to Contributed, yeah, not Examples, not Official, not Tools, Contributed, and it should be on page 1 of 5, but you might not have even any scripts installed. Okay, so, where'd you get it from? If we head off over to the old interwebs, and I'll put this link in the description panel below, over onto GitHub, and a place I never go to really, because I don't understand it. No. But, yeah, there you go. And what we're looking for is this contrib folder. And if I open the contrib folder, you can see just here, open in explorer.lua. Just click it and it'll take you to this big long, you don't need to bother with any of that. All you need to do is go and download. It says download raw file, but there it is. So now we've got the open in Explorer Lua script downloaded onto our machine. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need to do, you're going to need to do this whether you're on a Mac or a PC. You're going to have to find your config folder. Now, where that is on a Windows machine, I don't know, but it's not hard to find. But You can see where my config folder is. It's in users, me, and it's config. Yeah, it's dead easy. And if we have a look inside our config folder, we've got a folder, a subfolder called Darktable. If I expand there, and we see we've got all sorts of things in here, but what we're looking for is Lua. Yeah, and if we expand Lua, we can see we've got a folder called Contrib. Okay, which is the same as where you can see on the website this actual script lives. So it needs to be put in your Contrib folder inside Lua. Okay, LUA. So there you go. So you will have the script, and as you can see, I've got the script. Well, I can blooming see it. There's the DXO Pure Raw 4.1 or Pure Raw, but you don't need it. Open in Explorer.lua, and then once you've got it in that folder, I suggest that you shut down Darktable and then restart it again. Okay, and then just come into Contrib. You should see listed there, open in Explorer, and just hit the power button, and you will go from seeing your light table look like that to looking like that, and as soon as you turn it on, you get this button here. Okay, so that's my non-technical ramble through where to get this Lua script from and how to install it if it's not already installed on your machine. Just go and have a look at the contributed Lua scripts that you may or may not have on your machine, and just go and get it, because seriously, I mean, it just makes your life so much easier. Right, so if I open this raw file, there we go. So this is the raw file. You can go and download the raw file from the link in the description below, and I'm giving you a real nice file here. It's shot with a Z9 and a 180 to 600, but it's shot with it's about 16, 17 meters away, maybe a tad more, but it's shot with the camera in DX crop mode. So it's effectively a 900mm angle of view. And the reason we do that on the Z9 is sometimes under certain lighting conditions, the eye detect bit of the autofocus can start dancing around and not do its job right. But if you just tap the camera into DX crop mode, it works fine. Yeah, so that is why sometimes shoot the Z9 in DX crop mode, because we could get exactly the same image by shooting it full frame and then just cropping it down. Of course we could, but the big advantage of working in DX crop mode is under certain lighting conditions, your autofocus or your scene subject recognition bit of your autofocus, in other words your eye detection, functions a little bit better. So that's the reasoning for actually shooting something like a Z8 or a Z9 in DX crop mode. But anyway, there we go. I think we better just get on and process the raw file after that bloody big ramble, don't you? So here we are at our starting point. It's obviously being currently demosaicked in its raw state by Darktable. Shortly, that's not going to be the case anymore. So, yeah. But we are going to make a general adjustment to it by coming to exposure and I'm just going to temporarily turn on my clipping indicators, and I'm just going to turn up the exposure until I get the Kestrel looking about where I want. Okay, so let's call that 1.2 stops. So we will go 1.2. Yep, okay, so we've added 1.2 stops of exposure compensation to it. And he's looking okay. We've got a little tiny bit of highlight clipping there, but you can see the level of noise, and that level of noise has been exacerbated by that plus 1.2 EV exposure deviation we've just put in there. So in other words, we've made the noise more apparent. Don't forget, this isn't like looking at it in by default in Lightroom and doing that, because Lightroom puts capture sharpening all over everything. So makes the noise even more apparent. This image has got no sharpening on it at all. All right, but you can see this is the noise in the image across the entirety of the image, but this is the look of the noise is down to Darktables demosaicing algorithm. You've got to get your head around this. We are going to end up using Darktable to process an image that has not been demosaiced by Darktable. It's been demosaiced by DXO Pure Raw 4, and using the DXO demosaicing method, which is better. Yeah, especially when it comes to images like this, which are high megapixel, high ISO. Okay, it just copes with everything just a lot better. So I've just got this little bit of highlight clip in there. I'm actually just going to activate Filmic, open Filmic up, and I'm actually not going to bother touching any of the controls in Filmic. I'm just going to come to masking, and I'm not even going to make a mask. No, I'm just going to take the opacity down. Now, if we take it all the way down to 0, you can see I've got my clipping back again. Because what I don't want to do is do not want to lose the general overall contrast and tonality, or contrast, we'll come to that in the image. So all we're going to do is just turn this up until that clipping just about disappears. Just got a little tiny bit there, but I can't be bothered with it. Yeah, because it's not going to make any odds. So that is all I'm going to do to this raw file using Darktables demosaicing. Yeah. This is where the magic starts. We're going to come back to Lighttable, and with this raw file selected, we're just going to now click Show in File Explorer. And I'll just shut that window in the background down, and there it is. And we are going to go to open with DXO Pure Raw 4, and this is going to be really good. Now then, do not under any circumstances hit this process with preview, because it looks disgusting. Yeah. Just hit process, and if we hit process, we get this dialog box up, process settings, and this covers the corrections that we're going to make, and it also covers the output. So first of all, come to, corrections, and optical corrections. I recommend leaving this unchecked, lens softness, because to me it just over sharpens things even at its mildest setting. Vignetting, I'm not going to bother because I'm going to add a vignette to the image anyway. Chromatic aberration, always check that, and that means we've got to check something else when we get this image back into Darktable. So we have chromatic aberration turned on, lens distortion turned off, but the image is 2000 ISO. Okay, but I've just added 1.2 stops to it. So what I actually do is I actually knock 2 noughts off. So that would be 20 from 2000. And then sort of anywhere between 20 and 30, that's where we'll go. And we'll come to advanced, and we will come to luminance, and I'm going to run it with not 30, because that might be too much. We'll try it at sort of 26, 27, 28. Sometimes you can use this force details, but I'm not a big fan of it really. So I'm just going to set a luminance value of 27. So make sure you do that if you've downloaded the raw file and you're following along with me. Force details, I'm going to leave it at 0, and I'm going to click apply. We're then going to come to output, and we'll click edit, and the only thing we're going to check in here is that we're outputting as a DNG. It will go inside the original images folder, and export, cancel, export, select software, and then you'll get a list of all the various processors that you've got installed on your machine, and I'll just choose Darktable, and I will apply that as well, and then we'll go process now, and it'll take it a second or two. So I'm just going to have a short slurp of tea. Lovely. And yeah, come on, wake up. There we go. And we don't need to do anything else other than X out of this window and then come to DXO Pure Raw 4, quit. And as you can see, that DNG is sitting inside my light table view. Is it not? That's magic, isn't it? We don't need this DXO Pure Raw 4 or DXO Pure Raw. We don't need this script. And don't forget, I did say it was a bit of a pain to install. Yeah, especially on a Mac. So, you know, it is what it is. Well, install and get running. Opening Explorer does just as good a job, and it does it 10 times easier. So you'll notice though that it's still the raw file which is selected. So history stack, we've already put some adjustments on that raw file, so we can sort of see what we're doing and what we're dealing with. So we're going to go copy, and we're going to click on the DNG file, and we're going to go paste. Now when you do that, the two might look slightly different. They might do. But if we take this DNG up to 100%, and then we click on there, that's the difference. There's our raw file, and there's our denoised DNG, and there is no way that you can take this raw file and use any amount of the noise reduction that's available to you in Darktable and come up with something that equates to that. There is no way. Believe you me, I've tried, and there isn't. So the reason for that is the simple fact that This denoising is not done on the same, on the same technical lines or technical methodology as denoising that you've got available to you, say here in Denoise Profile. Let's go mad and make it really super smooth, shall we? Yeah, across its entire range. Crazy. There you go, and you can still see this background is very granular, and we've blurred too much detail in the male kestrel, and that's basically what this type of general workflow denoising does. It's a blurring process. This is not a blurring process. No. It uses programmed dark frame subtraction, and through one arm of AI, and so it recognises how much noise there is in the actual raw file, and it goes and removes it. And then the little bits that are sort of left over that make no sense, it uses AI, the second round of AI, for detail reconstruction. And, the two are as different as chalk and cheese because the methods and techniques used are as wildly different as chalk and cheese, yeah. So, here we are with our denoised DNG. Now, we obviously need to do some stuff to it, so what we're going to do is process it now. So if you've followed along with me, if you've downloaded the raw file, followed along with me, this is the stage you're at now. And so what are we going to do? The image is nice as it is. It needs a bit more separation between the subject and the background, which we will do shortly. But this out of focus fence post here, you see, ordinarily if I was doing this myself, I would take this into Photoshop, yeah, and just get rid of that. It'd be gone like that. With a very old-fashioned tool inside Photoshop, I hasten to add, nothing new. And but there is a subtle coloration on the kestrel's head, which is this blue-grey. The image is quite cool, so it's a little bit blue cyan. I don't want to warm the image up, even remotely, because I will destroy the delicate coloration of this kestrel's head, which is pretty much super accurate at the minute as it stands. Neither do I want to warm the image up, because that will re-emphasise or overemphasise the yellow content of the greens in the background, and I actually want to push them back, really, so I don't want to bring them forward and make them more obvious, because it will change the very nature of the image by changing the overall colour balance, which will bugger up the grey of the head. But there is one area which is the wrong colour, yeah. I actually blame Darktable for that, because if I do all this in Lightroom, I don't have a problem. But it's just the way the colours are translating inside of Darktable, and it's with the feathers on the back of the kestrel. This is a very mature male kestrel, and his feathers aren't orange, they're actually brick red, dull brick red. So I want to make the feathers on his back a little bit more correct. So we're not using any poetic or artistic license here. The name of the game when you're in wildlife photography is you can emphasise a mood, you can emphasise drama, you can emphasise atmosphere, but, you know, the colour of the bird is the colour of the bird and you can't really change it. You don't want to be changing it. Otherwise it looks like another sort of bird, doesn't it? The colours aren't correct. So, what are we going to do and how are we going to do it? I'm going to come to the Colour Equalizer module. Yes, I am. And I'll go and get my point sampler tool. And I will drag it over to about there. Okay. Right. So now I need to get all my ducks in a row and get the node placement correct, which would be about there. And then what I want to do is I want to go to hue. And we've got to be a little bit careful here. But I'm just going to grab that point and just pull it down a little tiny bit. And can you see? I hope you can with video compression over here on YouTube. And we've just shifted that slightly more brick red. We're going to come to saturation. And we are going to do the same thing with the saturation. No, we're not. Arc at me. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to lift the saturation and then we're going to come to brightness, and I might just lift the brightness of it just a little bit as well. And look at that now. I mean, the feathers on the back of that male kestrel are pretty much absolutely spot on. The only thing is, it's affecting other parts of the kestrel as well. These are the all-round here, and a bit on the feet as well. He's butchering a mouse, so he's got blood on his talons, and it's affecting the blood staining on his feet. Sorry it's so gory, but, you know, welcome to wildlife. So what we're going to do is turn it back on again. And you can see how the excess saturations changing the colours on the front and on some of the feathers around the eye. We do not want that. No. Otherwise he's going to end up looking like an American kestrel, which he isn't. No. So what are we going to do? All we're going to do is masking. And this is where Darktable just blows everything else out of the water, because we can mask absolutely anything and everything. It's just brilliant. But I need to use a brush mask. I love brush masks inside a Darktable. So we'll hold down Command or Control and we'll click on the brush icon. And all I am going to do is, I think, I'm going to just turn on, no, not yet. I'm just going to make a brush mark there. Okay, so now it's taken that adjustment off the entire image, and we've just got this little mask here. So all I'm going to do is just roughly brush over the areas where I want to see that little bit of a colour shift. We don't have to do it super duper accurate, yeah, but it'll do like that. And then I am going to come down to here, and we're just going to add a little bit of the feathering radius to that, a little bit of the blur radius, and a little bit of contrast. That's basically because we got a little bit of overspill over here, and that should just about do it. So we're going to turn the mask visibility off, and there we go. So let's go back up to here, minimize the module and then turn it off. Orange feathers, yeah, they're a bit dull. Brick red feathers, they're a bit more saturated and a little bit brighter. And that adjustment's exactly where we want it. So the next problem we've got with the image is we go to 100%. We could do with a bit sharpening. So the way I usually do sharpening in Darktable is with the contrast equalizer, using a smaller radius as I can, grab the fine detail over at the end and lift it up. A little bit like that. Okay, probably leave it about there. But that on certain images might cause a little bit of residual noise in the background to become a little bit more apparent. So guess what? Brush mask. Yes, brush mask. Open up the masking, go to brush, hold down Command or Control, there we go, and then all I'm going to do is just brush it on exactly where I want it. And if I minimize my history, you can see I've got my properties here for the brush, and so I can change the hardness, the size, the opacity, and I can change it all on the fly. And all we are going to do is just come in here and just add that pseudo sharpening, if you like, and we're just going to add it to places where the subject is actually sharp, because you don't want to be sharpening bits that aren't in focus, because that just leads to artifacting and it's a pointless exercise. So there we go. Let's just go and turn the view of the mask on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the size of the brush, yeah, and we are going to come and just build that mask up just a bit, take in more of the kestrel. Whoops a daisy, how's that happened? Go back there and just paint in a bit more. Oh, I can see all my scribbly brush marks now. Back in again and just paint in a little bit more. It's because I'm resting my hand on one of my buttons on my Wacom, and it keeps defaulting to turn the brush off. Don't know why, but we'll just scribble in a little bit more sharpness down there and a little bit more across there, and that'll just about do. Why it keeps going back to there, I do not know, but we'll turn the mask off, yeah, and there we go. So contrast equalizer off, no sharpening, contrast equalizer on via a mask with the sharpness generated by the contrast equalizer exactly where we want it and nowhere else. I'm just going to come back over here and oh, come on, go up to the top, minimize filmic. I'm just going to turn on local contrast at default, okay, because I'm going to open there, come into here, control, click on brush again, and all I'm going to do is just brush some of that local contrast into some of the detail on the head, and it's only the head that I'm doing it on. Some of the detail where we can do an extra bit of sculpting of the light, if you like, and you can see how much we've just added a little bit of three-dimensionality down there, and just bring it round there, a little bit there as well, and a little bit more just around that eye, yeah, but nothing too drastic, okay, because we don't want to be chasing things and making them go darker, yeah. So if we turn that off, whoops-a-daisy, and turn it back on again, it would help if I hid the brush, wouldn't it? Okay, off, on, off, on. Looks a little bit hard there, so we'll just add a little bit of the feather and just add a little bit of the blur. Off, on, off. There we go. I think that looks great. Though I say it myself. And the last thing that I'm going to do is make all this and the out of focus background just that little less eye-catching, and so we will come back to exposure. Now we've already used one instance of exposure, and again we're now leveraging the power of Darktable, yeah, because we can just go and get a new instance of said exposure module, can't we? And we'll come down to masking again, and we'll go and get an oval, yes. And I'm going to, I mean, you can see the size of the oval, it's 23.8, feather is 58, rotation 90, and I'm just going to plonk it right there. Now, which way round is that mask? Go and visualise the mask. I want to make a vignette. It's not the right way, is it? No. So all I need to do is that by clicking that little plus button there, and then I'll turn that mask visibility off, and then we will take down the exposure. But what I might do is move the black level correction just a little bit to the left, so the vignette's not quite so harsh, okay? And there we go, guys and gals. I don't know what you make of that. Download the raw file, follow along with me, and let me know how you get on. You got any questions? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to help the channel out, big time, follow the link in the description panel below and go over and sign up to my Patreon channel. But seriously, if you just click that subscribe button, click the notification button, and you know, give it a thumbs up and maybe share it, that you wouldn't believe how much that helps me generate a little bit of extra income from the YouTube channel. And so yeah, there you go. Big thanks again to me Patreon members, because seriously I would not be able to do this without their continued monthly financial support. They are really just the best bunch of people on the planet as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, there you go. Hope you found that useful. Hope you found it interesting. Bit of a long one, as is the case with most of my videos. Bit chatty, bit rambly. People complain, they say they hate it. You know what to do, don't you? If you don't like it, don't bloody watch it. Real simple, yeah. And so until the next time, guys, stay safe, stay well, keep taking the pictures, and I'll see you soon in another one. Yeah, I will. See ya!